Welcome to a new episode of the cut content of Counter-Strike. Today we will take a look at the cut and unused grenades as well as dropped grenade features from the Counter-Strike series. And since this is one of the bigger episodes, I brought along some support in the form of my friend Baddis. You may know him from the M60 or the grenade launcher episode of the cut content of Counter-Strike. Baddis, thanks for joining me again.
Hello everyone, glad to be back on the set.
Alright, let's go. In the very beginning of the Counter-Strike era during Beta 1.0, the Flashbang was the sole grenade of the game. Similarly to later and more modern iterations of the device, it filled the same purpose, blinding enemy targets. A notable feature was that the Flashbang at the time could be cooked off, meaning that the fuse would burn down while the player held the device after pulling the pin. If used correctly and with perfect timing, it would allow players to throw the grenades at enemies or through certain angles and corners without giving the opponent a chance of escaping the blast, therefore being unable to avoid being blinded. This also meant that if held for too long, the flashbang would detonate in the user's hands, blinding them in the process. This feature was soon completely removed and never seen again in the series. Nonetheless, it was a very interesting gameplay mechanic that could potentially be risky, but also very rewarding. At Beta 3.0's release, on September 14, 1999, the flashbang was reworked and renamed the concussion grenade. While still being able to blind players temporarily, additionally it was given the ability to spew out shrapnel on detonation, causing up to around 60 points of damage depending on where you stand. The shrapnel was removed from the device by Beta 5.0. Of course, the flashbang wasn't the only idea of crowd control grenades brought into the series, others were planned, but unlike the example we've just shown, they never made it into the final cut.
When developing their version of Counter-Strike Condition Zero, Rogue came up with the idea of introducing a concussion grenade, not to be confused with a damaging beta flashbang. According to the same issue of Computer Gaming World magazine we've been using for a while, it would have been able to cause severe tinnitus, ear ringing noise, deafening the player, and even cause them to drop their weapons if the grenade was dropped too close. This would have been the first instance of the weapon capable of disarming another player, and would have opened an avenue for new tactics that would completely change the face of Counter-Strike. Even though this gameplay feature was never explored again, the tinnitus effect was added into the flashbang in Counter-Strike Source and continues to be the weapon's secondary effect to this very day. Falling back on the same magazine issue, the flare was another type of grenade that was planned for Counter-Strike Condition Zero in both Rogue Entertainment and Gearbox Software's builds and designs of the game. They fulfilled an identical function in both versions, providing light in certain areas, which according to Computer Gaming World's coverage of it, would allow it to spot campers in darkened areas. Although the way it operates in Rogue's build is unknown to us, a Gearbox screenshot clearly indicates it was to operate like a grenade does, being featured in the grenade section of the buy menu. Only the heads-up display and kill icons from the Gearbox build can be found in Counter-Strike 1.6's game files.
Gearbox Software, during the development of Counter-Strike Condition Zero, has been actively attempting to add more tactical elements and components to the Counter-Strike series. Most of the ideas, like the flare, were cut. Some would eventually find their way into Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Obviously, but unknown to most, the FAMAS and Galil are weapons that originated from Gearbox's ideas. The same goes for the Molotov cocktail, an improvised incendiary device exclusive to the terrorists. Made out of a glass bottle containing flammable liquid, a piece of cloth used to ignite the liquid upon impact, and a lighter to ignite the cloth. It would serve as an area denial weapon, damaging any players that would pass through the flames created upon impact on a surface, discouraging anyone from passing through. Unlike the two previously mentioned assault rifles, this grenade wouldn't make the cut until much later in the series in Counter-Strike Global Offensive. The weapon would still be terrorist exclusive, with an equivalent device, the incendiary grenade, given to the Counterterrorists. Though this was later in the betas. As during the alpha versions of Counter-Strike Global Offensive, the Molotov cocktail was in fact used by terrorists and counterterrorists. This was likely just a stand-in and was changed, as the Molotov cocktail is an unlikely weapon for law enforcement or counterterrorism units. Both the Molotov cocktail and incendiary grenades' flames can be extinguished by lobbing a smoke grenade into it. It is unknown if such a feature was ever planned for Gearbox's interpretation of the device, however, their counter-terrorist equivalent to the Molotov cocktail in Condition Zero had an item to counter it. The counter-terrorist's equivalent to the Molotov cocktail was originally meant to be a gas grenade, unlike in Global Offensive, where it is the aforementioned incendiary grenade. The CS grenade or gas grenade is a throwable device that releases a cloud of gas upon detonation. Said cloud will cause any player not equipped with a gas mask to cough, revealing their position in addition of damaging them while completely ignoring armor. One could almost think this weapon is a superior version of the smoke grenade, not only being able to block visibility, but also damage players and bypassing armor, making it a quite powerful weapon against enemies without gas masks. It has to be noted that it could be possible that the gas mask was only able to be purchased by counter-terrorists, as no terrorist has been seen in preview material with a gas mask. In fact, very little to no footage of the gas mask or gas grenade can be found. Only a few screenshots, residual HUD icons, and a few reports serve as basis for this. The previously mentioned coughing effect can still be seen today in Counter-Strike Condition Zero deleted scenes. When throwing a smoke grenade at an NPC, they start to cough and play a flinching animation as if they were being damaged. Additionally, it has to be noted that the game actually includes an HD model for the gas grenade, implying that at some point the developers at Ritual Entertainment thought of carrying over this concept from Gearbox's version of Counter-Strike Condition Zero. But if this new gas grenade would have made it into their version of the multiplayer or only stayed in the single player is unknown. And now we are moving on to the stranger elements of the grenades in the franchise.
The MK2 grenade is a grenade that was supposedly cut from Counter-Strike Global Offensive. It is the pineapple-shaped grenade that was used by Allied forces during World War II. It only appears in the CSGO GitHub repository under its entity name, weapon_MK2 grenade. That put aside, we virtually have no information on this device. Here are two unusual candidates for this list. In a recent update, a color variable was added to the smoke grenade, indicating that colored smokes may be part of CSGO's future. Another update added hints to what is referred to as a sonic smoke grenade. A smoke grenade has the ability to play some of the tracks from in-game music kits. Aside from some of the tracks included for the weapon and some sound references, not actual WAV files, we virtually know nothing of this, and we do not know how it would fit in a game.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode of the cut content of Counter-Strike. I would like to take the opportunity to thank our few but loyal supporters on Patreon, who of course got to see this video first. Kelda P, Zed Gladders, Lone Wolf Deconis, Sambo Badger and J13. To them and to everyone else, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, maybe check out the other episodes of the cut content of Counter-Strike or our recent look into the recreation of the original No Mercy campaign for Left 4 Dead. So, see you guys next time. Till then, have a nice day and as always, goodbye and guten Tag.